guys, it's your boy, Barca boy 103. Just finished watching the match and Barcelona beat Real Mallorca 1-0 at the Lluís Companys Stadium in Montjuic, picking up 3 crucial points and trying to salvage somewhat of a league title race ahead of the Clásico next month. This match was very similar, if not on par, with the match that we played last weekend against Athletic Club, a team where Barcelona should be dominating, did dominate for a few spells here and there, but just couldn't really get the ball rolling until Xavi made those key changes in the second half. Now, Xavi's lineup for this match, the starting lineup, was quite a surprise. It was Ter Stegen in goal, a back four of Koundé, Cubarsí, Inigo Martinez, João Cancelo, a midfield three of Christensen, Gundogan, and Raphinha, front three of Lamine Yamal, Marc Guéhiu, and João Felix. Like I mentioned, it was a very dull performance yet again. Thank God we got the result in this game. In the last game against Athletic Club, didn't have any individual brilliance, but in this match, it did come up. I think the first 10-15 minutes, we absolutely dominated. We honestly probably dominated until the penalty. So the penalty came around, I think, the 23rd minute. Clear penalty was given. Gundogan missed it. Terrible from him. Up until that point, the 23rd minute, Gundogan was playing unbelievably well. Since then, he fell off a cliff beyond belief. In that first 31 to 32 minutes of this game, no chances from either side. Barcelona building up, trying to sniff a chance, lose it. Mallorca trying to counter, lose it. A lot of back and forth. We had a few chances just before halftime from the 33rd minute until halftime. I think probably 2 each. Barcelona had a João Felix chance. They had the Murici chance as well. Went to halftime, even Stevens. Even the start of the second half, Barcelona looked very dull, especially that first 15 minutes. Then Xavi made the change, taking off Guéhiu and João Felix for Lewandowski and Victor Roque. Of course, Fermin Lopez came in for Raphinha for his injury. Now, quickly on the Raphinha injury, we are hearing reports at the moment that the injury isn't serious, but it could be a doubt for the game against Napoli. He could play that game if we do if he is injected with painkillers. Now, this is probably the game where we want to get injected with painkillers if Xavi thinks it's necessary for him to start, but that's a topic for another day. His injury isn't too serious. Might miss the Napoli game, but should hopefully be all good for Atletico next weekend. We make those changes with Victor Roque and Lewandowski coming in. Of course, the big question was whether or not Guéhiu starting over Roque, and looks like the coaching staff was correct. They wanted Guéhiu to start the game for the hold-up play. They're going to be, of course, placing the low block of Mallorca, 5-4-1 the entire game. Actually, probably 5, more so like a 5-3-2 the entire game. And then Guéhiu came on when the defense was tired. The space was opening up a bit more. That had a big impact. Of course, the goal is just wonderful from Lamine Yamal. It is generational talent level. We've seen Lamine Yamal attempt this twice in the game. They cut onto his left and bang it in. He, of course, hit one wide, hit the bar, and then the third time lucky, bends it into the far post. And you know what? You can't ask for anything more than that. It was a very, honestly, brilliant goal that you just are sitting there watching it in absolute awe. And it's a goal that will mark the player's ability in the future as well. You know, this player's going to have the, talent, so to speak, to really mark an era at Barcelona. And it's just going to be something that you gotta get used to at this point. And we'll talk about other players who were on that level of Lamine Yamal as well. But after the goal, we kind of just controlled the tempo a little bit. Didn't really go for anything else after that goal. And then we kind of just rided the storm until full time. Now, in regards to, of course, Romeo came off the bench. I think Romeo in that, 10-minute cameo wasn't too bad. And again, credit to Xavi as well for taking off Gundogan ahead of Christensen. I really thought he was going to do a straight swap in the pivot for Christensen and Romeo, but he didn't. He took off Gundogan. That was the correct decision because Gundogan fell off a cliff since that penalty miss. And I'm more so happy of the result. We just need this win. Now we have the whole weekend off. We can sit back, chill, relax, see how Girona and Real Madrid do. Of course, now we've leapfrogged into second place. So if Girona draw, I forget who they played this weekend. I think off the top of my head, it was Osasuna or Vallecano. I don't know. But if they draw, we then confirm our second place spot. And then, of course, if Madrid draw points, we can close the gap a little bit at the top. Individual performances. I think the team performance tonight was very much, a 5.5, 6 out of 10. Very average, very boring, very dull. We lacked a lot of, not communication, but knowledge of your teammates. The reading of the play, reading of the movements. We've seen, a lot of João Felix trying to put in Guéhiu. He doesn't read the run of Guéhiu. We've even seen Fermin Lopez trying to read the run of João Felix. It doesn't really come about. It was also all in the final third where you just sense there's a lack of chemistry. Because again, a lot of these players haven't really played with each other too much, and we're now into crunch time of the season, so it's going to become very evident of that. In regards to individual performances, Ter Stegen in goal, I think he had nothing to do really. A couple of catches, a couple of shots that were straight at him. Distribution, some of them were good, some of them weren't good. It's his 400th game for Barcelona. He's his second all-time foreign appearance, which is crazy in my mind. Well, he's third, but he's going to be second. He has to play another 8 games to pass Dani Alves, but I'll give him an average 6. Koundé, I thought yet again, absolutely brilliant, especially in that first half. I tell you what, Koundé just might have had a January-December blip because, you know, from August until October, world-class, top in the world of Europe. He then came out, he got injured, came back, sloppy. But since Betis 4-2, he's been absolutely brilliant. And yet again today, I feel so bad that he wasn't rested today. But another 90 minutes for Koundé under his belt. He's played every single minute in 2024. And why can you drop him? He's been absolutely unbelievable. Probably give him a 7.5, 8 out of 10. Kubarsi gets a 9 from me, man of the match as well, in my opinion. I think Pau Kubarsi is not a legend in the making, but a generational talent and one of the best center backs in the world in the making. This kid is absolutely unbelievable. I think he's about 6 foot tall. He's not the tallest center back, but he's challenging aerial duels with the likes of Kyle Larin, with the like of Morici, and, you know, winning them as well, on the ground as well, bullying people double his size. I mean, he had Kyle Larin in his pocket. Also on the ball, sublime. This kid's gonna be unbelievable, man. And I just speechless. I have no other words. Inigo, I think Inigo was alright today, probably 6.5. Few sloppy moments for him, in my opinion, especially after this month in October when you thought he was absolutely unbelievable. He then had, you know, did both his quads in 4 months. We haven't seen much from him. Hasn't been that great as of late in this game, but a bit average. There were a lot of moments where I expected to weed that aerial presence for Barcelona on the likes of Kyle Larin and Morici, and he sometimes won the aerial duel, sometimes didn't. On the ground, he's getting done quite a bit. Got a yellow card as well. Don't think he was that great, but he wasn't, you know, super poor, so I'll give him an average 6 out of 10. Left back João Cancelo, probably give him an average 6 out of 10 as well. Lost the ball quite a bit. Looking a bit sloppy, especially in not in the final third, but just the phase before that as well. But some good link-up play, had a good flick in the second half as well. Don't think he was terrible, but again, he's a risky player who does things to risk it for the biscuit. Sometimes it doesn't come off, and it comes off, you know, it doesn't come off too much, kind of affects his performance a bit. Christensen in the pivot, average 6. I mean, did what he had to do. Don't think he made a mistake. Don't think he was absolutely sublime. Got stuck in a little bit. Won a lot of balls, won a lot of second balls and balls in transition as well, which is what you want from your pivot. So credit to him. He is improving, I think, in my opinion, in the pivot. Of course, no means our solution, but definitely we are seeing some improvements from a month ago when he first started playing there. I think the first time he played there was against Alaves away from home. Gundogan, I'm giving a 5, man. I think up until the penalty, he was a solid 8 or 9. Post penalty miss, this man was dropping stinkers. The issue that I have with Gundogan right now is when he goes down, this man pitches and moans like no tomorrow. And I'll tell you what, let's say he gets fouled 5 times. 3 of them are probably actually fouls, which the referee are not calling, and 2 of them aren't. There's one in the second half where he just looks lazy and just goes down. He whips his hand up, hits the ground, starts pointing at the referee. I'm like, mate, you can't be doing this every single game. I understand your frustration. I mean, look at the Lewandowski foul in the 80th minute. The poor guy could not challenge it because he's 1 yellow card away from missing the Atletico Madrid game, which we cannot risk whatsoever. But Gundogan just going down a lot, and not due to him, you know, being fouled, but sometimes a bit with his movement, and then complaints as well. But apart from that, I think his performance wasn't that great. Was not linking up whatsoever in the final third, giving the ball away silly, tried to link up play, couldn't read the runs of either of his players, which he was doing, you know, in the first 20 minutes, but somehow forgot about it. I don't think he was that great since the penalty miss. Probably give him a 5 out of 10. Raphinha, I thought he was alright, average 6, up until, of course, his injury. Again, the injury isn't too serious, but he is going to be a bit of a doubt against Napoli. Honestly, the injury was the cleat, or the boot, of the defender glazed his ankle, kind of like that. So kind of like hooked it a bit. So I didn't think it was going to be a serious injury whatsoever. I think it's honestly just a knock. I think honestly he'll be alright for Tuesday. I'm surprised that having Miguel saying that he might be a doubt. I don't think it's that serious of an injury. João Felix on the left, probably give him, you know, a 5. I think he did absolutely nothing in this game. He had that one shot that was going to be a cross that was saved. Had that one shot from top of the box in the first half that went wide. Second half absolutely ghosted. Again, like I told you about João Felix, he needs to get double digits in both goals and assists for us to even consider keeping him next season. Looks like I don't think he's going to reach those numbers. And again, I think his future is definitely far away from Barcelona, as the reports recently are deeming. I just don't think not a fan of Barcelona, but I just don't think he's been doing well recently. He's very much a flair player. He's very much a player that's like Cancelo, risks a lot, and if it doesn't pull off, he looks like he's crap. But if it does pull off, he looks like the next best thing since sliced bread. I think in this game, he tried a few things, but just couldn't really pull it off, and again, did not look like he was in the game. And credit to Xavi for taking him off at the hour mark, because I think it was definitely the right change. Marc Guehi up front, I think honestly Guehi wasn't too bad. Looked really strong. Again, he was basically just a hold-up play striker, trying to create some spaces for the wingers and holding out the play. Poor guy did not have any chances in this game. Really wanted to see him get at least a couple of chances in this game, see how he would have done with those, but nothing really fell his way. Probably give him an average 6, but I think honestly a good cameo for I think one of his first starts for Barcelona. Finally, Lamine Yamal. If I'm being honest, you're probably looking at 7.5 for his performance. Of course, he got the goal. Okay, golazo, absolutely magisterial goal. I think if you take away the goal, apart from the other two shots that were very similar to the goal, didn't really do much, especially in that first half. Looked like he lacked some pace. There were a lot of moments where we had counterattacks with Raphinha feeds in Lamine Yamal. I'm young in the live stream. Sprint, Lamine, sprint. And I don't know if he's sprinting or not, but he's moving very, very slowly. Again, I think after the goal, he looked really good as well, trying to, attract fouls. He got that big foul in the 80th minute. Hopefully he's okay. He was limping a little bit afterwards, but before the goal, honestly, wasn't really doing too much. Again, the whole entire team wasn't, so I'm not just blaming Lamine himself, but the goals what saved us, so credit where it's due. Off the bench, I think Roque looked absolutely brilliant as well. Again, running in behind space, and that's where he, looks best. I think Fermin Lopez was alright, definitely an improvement from Bilbao, but again, the Bilbao performance is an absolute stinker for him. I honestly don't think he did play that great either. Definitely better than his worst performance, one of the worst performances of the season, but still wasn't great for Fermin Lopez. Giving the ball away a lot. Again, looks like he's trying to do, it looks like he has to kind of prove us something, which he does, but I don't know, man. He looks like he's rushing the decisions and things of that nature. Romeo came on, looked alright as well. Lewandowski came on, did what he had to do, got the assist, credit to him. And that's pretty much it. I think Kubarsi is the only player that, I think performed above expectations. I think Lamine Yamal gets a little bit of the extra points because of the goal, but I think apart from Kubarsi, everyone was pretty much average today. And I think Kubarsi was levels above everyone and was definitely, without shadow of a doubt, the best player on the pitch, even though probably I think Lamine Yamal will get man of the match in La Liga and Barcelona because he got the winning goal. But I think Kubarsi was absolutely unbelievable. In regards to Xavi today, I'd probably give him a 7. I mean, he made a good lineup, good substitution.